Don't you worry, it's gonna be alright. 'Cause I'm the judge and jury, and we'll be up all night. You better check for pose. You better check for pose. You better check for
They are dead on that.
all the best things love can bring. All in the blind spot that we don't see. Wipe the dirt.
It was earlier tonight. I don't.
13, she had her 13th birthday party. She was happy that we were all together.
She wanted to walk the rest of the way.
You will hurt the ones that love you, and they will hurt you right back. Sing along, sing along. Our love is a heart attack. You better check the pulse. You better check for pulse.
Unraveling the intricate web of lies that made up Chris Watts' secret life, offering clues as to why he murdered his pregnant wife Shanann and their 2 young daughters. Shanann's devastated parents, Sandra and Frank Prusek, speaking out for the first time since their daughter's murder.
I told the police to find his GPS because his GPS is going to tell them where my family is.
From the outside, the Watts family seems perfect. In social media videos, Chris plays the part of a loving husband and doting father to Bella, 4, and 3-year-old Celeste, also known as Cece.
My daddy is a hero.
I am so excited. I'm driving with you. Hey guys, we're here from the boat today.
She was fun, full of life. She did so many things. She had her hand in everything.
Love you guys. Have a great day.
Whatever happened to him, he acted pure evil.
Unraveling the intricate web of lies that made up Chris Watts' secret life, offering clues as to why he murdered his pregnant wife Shanann and their 2 young daughters. Shanann's devastated parents, Sandra and Frank Prusek, speaking out for the first time since their daughter's murder.
I told the police to find his GPS because his GPS is going to tell them where my family is.
From the outside, the Watts family seems perfect. In social media videos, Chris plays the part of a loving husband and doting father to Bella, 4, and 3-year-old Celeste, also known as Cece.
My daddy is a hero.
I am so excited. I'm driving with you. Hey guys, we're here from the boat today.
She was fun, full of life. She did so many things. She had her hand in everything.
Love you guys. Have a great day. If everyone wants my seat.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Watts the Obsession True Crime. I'm so glad that you guys are here with us tonight. Please let me know how the audio is. I have my B choice mic on in effect tonight because I left my other mic somewhere else where I was recording. Thank you guys so much for being here. Tonight, it is, you know what it is Friday night, Watts the Obsession date night, when we try to do a live stream every Friday when possible. And this Friday and next Friday, we have 2 very special spooky live streams, as next Friday, as many of you know, and some of you have reminded me, is going to be Halloween. So this Friday, meaning tonight, and next Friday, which will actually fall on Halloween night, we are going to be doing spooky Watts Kate's live streams, talking about everything paranormal, evil, occult, and simply unexplainable in this case. Tonight, particularly having to do with Chris Watts and his mistress. And actually, next week is even going even deeper into that topic. I don't know if some of you saw a couple weeks ago, I dropped a Watts case paranormal video that covered a lot of the paranormal material that is known and has been explored and talked about and investigated regarding this case. So we have covered a lot of that material. I'm going to bring some of it in for us to watch at appropriate segments. And oh yes, we are definitely going to be talking about American Horror Story. Absolutely. Welcome, Shady. How are you doing? Welcome, Molly. Thanks for being here. Allison in Wonderland. Miss J, if only you knew. She says, hello, everyone from the UK, 3:14 a.m. Thank you so much for being here. Pepper, Cuff You, and Honey Bun, our wonderful mods. Thank you for being here. Also, Edward Schwank, another one of our wonderful mods. Denise, did I say hello to you? Welcome, my friend. Thanks for being here. Hey, Heidi, welcome. Thanks for being here. Heidi says, it was that had the connections to the occult. He tried to get Nikki into it, but she didn't want to. So who are you saying was the person that had connections to the occult? I'm very interested. Everyone, please join in the conversation. We would love for you to be part of the conversation. We just ask that you're respectful to each other, of course, to the victims and their family members, and anything else is game. We're not here to judge you. We are here to have a conversation with you and to share an interest. Ella Angel, I'm so glad that you're here. I'm sorry this started later than was planned. I know it's really late for you, but thank you for being here all the way from Scotland. Let's see. I have no niche. Please subscribe. Welcome. What a cool name. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Let me check out. And Daniel Wiley, thank you for being here. Daniel says, we cannot ever be lawfully compelled to ever forego these inalienable rights for the purposes of potentially protecting other people. And damn, what a great statement. I'm not sure exactly what you were saying that in regards to, but amen to that. Oh, you're talking about vaccinations. Gotcha. That is a conversation, isn't it? Well, we're not going to talk about that issue tonight, but I love that you guys are talking about in chat. Hey, FH, how are you doing? I hope that you're still around. Thank you for being here. Hey, Nelda, it's so wonderful to see you. Watts the Obsession, Watts Case OG. And let's see. Hey, Doc. Oh, Doc got a flu shot. I see. All right. So we'll respect everyone's choice whether to get a flu shot or not. I know people definitely have opinions on those things, but I just want y'all to be happy and healthy. Seriously. That's what I want for all of you. And that's what I want for you to want for each other. Hey, Kara Yimloy. Welcome. Nice to see you, my friend. All right. I'm going to go back down to current time. If for some reason I missed you and didn't say hello, please, please know it was not intentional. I just didn't see you. Did I say hi to Miss J? If only you knew. I remember thinking that's such a cool name. Welcome. How are you doing? Okay. So I'm going to bring a video into the stream to kind of get us warmed up. And it is going to talk about that crazy coincidence, or I think I called this video the Watts case signs, or was it a sign? You know, when Chris Watts was talking to his neighbor Nate and Officer Coonrod when the authorities were initially called for the wellness check, when her friend, Shanann's friend, Nicole Atkinson, realized something was amiss. And there in the living room, Officer Coonrod, the only officer on site at that time, neighbor Nate and Chris Watts are watching videotape of him walking back and forth from the inside of the house to his truck. And it is in his truck that we know he transported, either alive or deceased, his family members or their remains to Survey 319, where he disgracefully disposed of them. He hasn't mentioned yet that Shanann is pregnant, and all of a sudden, that commercial for American Horror Story pops up on the screen with the fetus. Oh my gosh, it is just absolutely crazy. And I really want to know what y'all think about that. I'm going to try to put up a poll on this topic, but without further ado, let me just bring some material into the stream to get us going.
Let me find my secret. Where's my secret, Chris? Where's my secret? A baby? Baby? We're having baby fever over here. Kids are having baby fever. You want a brother? Or a sister? Sister. You're sad the baby left?
Shanann, who was 15 weeks pregnant with a son, Nico, was found in a shallow grave. Their two daughters submerged in oil.
A lot of people want to know if Watts could also face a murder charge for his unborn baby. The simple answer is no.
Colorado does not recognize an unborn child literally at any stage as a person for the purposes of our murder statute. So the easy answer is no. The father of the unborn child cannot be charged with murder relating to the unborn child.
We're excited, and Cece's on week 2 of potty training. Do you have any accidents today? No accidents today at school. No accidents this weekend. She's had 2 accidents in 2 weeks, which is incredible. A lot of, yes, baby. She can, but after mommy. Say goodbye to everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Say thank you for being the compliments.
Thank you to compliment.
All right, guys. Have a great day, and we're going to go celebrate our excitement over here. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
There's no sound here because when YouTube's music policies changed, I had to take some music out of a couple videos, so that's why there's no sound here. Thank you guys for being here this evening. I'm so excited to see you all. Please, do the things, hit the like, share the link. If you have friends who are interested in this case that you would like to invite, we would love for them to join us. Oops, sorry.
Say hi to everybody.
All right, there we go. Sound back. Thank you, YouTube, and your ever-changing music policies. Volume's coming back in just a minute. 3, 2, 1-ish. Yeah, Curious Christine says the timing of that commercial. It's nearly unbelievable.
I want you to say hi to everybody since you took over.
What do you want? Do you want another brother or sister?
Sister.
You want another sister? You want another baby too? Yeah? Do you want a brother or a sister?
Sister.
You want a little sister?
Yeah.
You want to be a big sister?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Court records are revealing crucial details into the murder investigation of pregnant mom Shanann Watts and her 2 daughters. Just before 5:30 in the morning, a neighbor's surveillance camera captures Chris loading something into the back of his truck.
Baby.
I'm right here.
Uh-oh. No.
Oh no.
Oh no. What happened?
What happened, baby?
Save me, Mommy.
I saved you. You're right here. You're safe. He's not going to get you. He's not a mean monster.
My friend, do you believe in signs? Do you believe that we see signs in life that tell us things that we don't perceive in our own consciousness? Well, let me tell you, if you didn't believe in signs before watching this, you just might believe in them after watching this, because this is pretty wild. So let's take a quick look at the timeline for the morning of August 13th, 2018. That was a Monday morning from when Shanann Watts was caught on camera walking into her house as she was coming home from a business trip in Arizona, up until the point when Chris Watts had been summoned home by Shanann's friend, Nicole, and he arrived at home to be greeted by an officer. Then he went over to his neighbor Nate's house and they were reviewing security camera footage to see what could be seen on that security camera footage. Did it catch any footage of Shanann or the girls leaving the house? Remember, at this point, the whole world, other than Chris Watts and perhaps maybe another person or so, believe that Shanann and Bella and Celeste and unborn baby Nico are just missing. They had just gone missing. This is so new Nobody could have ever known at this point what the world was going to soon learn happened to Shanann, Bella Celeste, and unborn baby Nico. What a horrific tragedy. When we're talking timeline, I think it's important to note that although there is no mention of it in the official Discovery timeline, the 111-minute phone call that Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger held the evening of August 12th, just minutes before Shanann touched down at the Denver airport as she returned from her business trip in Arizona, happened from 9:28 p.m. to 11:19 p.m. on August 12th. Again, that's 9:28 p.m. to 11:19 p.m. Just 2 minutes after that phone call ended, at 11:21 p.m. on August 12th, the note in the Discovery says, Watts finally replied, "Holy crap, sorry, I passed out on the couch. That's going to be late." And this was in response to Shanann trying to let Chris Watts know that her flight was delayed. So now we come to August 13th, 2018. At 1:48 a.m., the note says, Watts' phones logged the vivid alert of Shanann's entry into their home. At the same moment, the Vivint video monitor captured Shanann as she walked up to the home and entered. Her friend Nicole was captured backing out of the driveway. Between 1:48 a.m. and 4:23 a.m., there were no movements detected on the main floor of the home, according to Vivint. Shortly after the 5 a.m. hour, that is when neighbor Nate's security camera caught Chris Watts backing his truck up into the driveway and making several trips from the house to the truck when he was loading the truck with his wife Shanann and loading Bella and Celeste into the truck. He left the house at 5:48 a.m., headed to Survey 319. In those early morning hours, while at Survey 319, Watts sent a flurry of texts to his coworkers, letting him know where he was, asking where they were. Certainly, he did not want them to show up while he was doing whatever he was doing. There's a number of important text messages in here, and I go over them in detail in different videos. At 7:40, Watts sends Shanann the first of his many stage messages asking where Shanann is at. While at Survey 319 at 10:10 a.m., Watts searches for the lyrics to the song Battery by Metallica. He later tells investigators that it was Nicole Kessinger that wanted to know what the song was about. She wanted to know what the words were to the song. He says that she has a range of musical interests and she was a little bit into Metallica. The lyrics of the song go like this: lashing out the action camera footage, trying to find his missing wife videos. At 7:40, Watts sends Shanann the first.
Sorry about that. I just jumped the video back like a minute. Sorry about that.
Of his many stage messages asking where Shanann is at. While at Survey 319 at 10:10 a.m., Watts searches for the lyrics to the song Battery by Metallica. He later tells investigators that it was Nicole Kessinger that wanted to know what the song was about. She wanted to know what the words were to the song. He says that she has a range of musical interests and she was a little bit into Metallica. The lyrics of the song go like this: lashing out the action, returning the reaction. Weak are ripped and torn away. Hypnotizing power, crushing all that cower. Battery is here to stay. Smashing through the boundaries, lunacy has found me. Cannot stop the battery. Pounding out aggression turns into obsession. Cannot kill the battery. Cannot kill the family. Battery is found in me. Crushing all deceivers, mashing non-believers, never-ending potency. Hungry violence seeker, feeding off the weaker, breeding on insanity. Circle of destruction, hammer comes crushing. Powerhouse of energy, whipping up a fury, dominating flurry. we create the battery. From 10:28 a.m. to 10:51 a.m., Sandy Rusick, Shanann's mom, is texting and calling Chris, asking where Shanann is at. These texts and calls are intermixed with Chris Watts looking up vacation spots in Aspen and calling hotels. As word gets around about Shanann and the girls' whereabouts being unknown, Shanann's friends start to contact Chris by calling him, sending him text messages, led by Nicole Atkinson, who is, in my opinion, a hero, and he arrives home finally, reluctantly, a little after 2 p.m. and is greeted by one law enforcement officer, Officer Coonrod. So we know that here, Chris does a terrible job pretending that he is looking for Shanann. He pretends that he finds Shanann's phones. Oh, surprise. And eventually, Nicole Atkinson's son, Nicholas, makes his way over to neighbor Nate's house. Officer Coonrod follows, and so does Chris Watts. So let's just all watch together as Chris Watts flounders a bit when he arrives at neighbor Nate's house with Officer Coonrod, and they're watching the security camera footage of him taking things to his truck in the early morning hours that very same day.
What's that?
Nothing on there. You just have my camera. Lay down.
Loading my stuff up in my coolers, my water jugs, my book bag, my computers, some of the tools that I have in the toolbox. I knew I was going to have to do some pumping unit rubbers today. That's why I was out so far.
Is this on continually recording?
Yep. Well,
it's not. Is it motion or is it? Okay, so it's motion.
Any motion event that happens, but I get cars driving from this street, and this is him at 517.
I usually park out there on the side. I just want to get everything back in. Be easier to lug everything out there, all the tools that I had to bring in. What else can I do with this?
My detective just showed up, so he'll probably want to talk to you. He'd probably, like I said, he might have you call at the bank and see if there's any kind of activity.
Because if there was any sort of action out there,
his cameras,
I would have got it.
Like
right.
we had issues the other week when people were stealing stuff out of like garages and stuff like that, and I had parked my truck
I had
here.
to park right here.
Yeah. So someone, I could see where someone tried to jimmy with a flathead screwdriver over there, and it was just like.
But if any action would have happened, any cars or anything left your house, I would have.
Yeah, it would have been like right in that area. They should have picked. I mean.
Oh, it'll pick up anything coming down the street this way.
You know where that tree there too?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Watch, I'll show you. There's nothing on here. We've already watched that one. But like, you'll see this car.
What security system do you have?
You can see this car starting to drive down the street here.
That one.
Oh, look. See what I'm saying? It picks up all the way down there.
That's cool.
He's next door.
Here we go.
I was talking about dispatcher. He'll be close for.
Yeah, we can pick up cars coming this way. I get anything coming this way and making this turn. So, and usually at night I pick up the cars pulling a U-turn. So, unless they pulled right here, but I would have caught her walking out. Diesel.
You're good.
But yeah, I thought nothing.
Nothing for the rest of the day.
No, that's it.
She's pregnant as well.
How far along?
15 weeks. That's why her friend said it was low blood sugar.
Now, before we go into the sign sent straight from the American Horror Story commercial, I just want you to notice something. If you're to take a look at Officer Coonrod's body cam clock, right now, when Chris Watts is saying, oh, and she's pregnant, she's 14, 15 weeks pregnant, fesses that up for the first time to Officer Coonrod, it is 2:42 p.m. Now, I'm sure you notice all the while when Officer Coonrod and neighbor Nate are looking at the security camera footage and they're focusing on it, Chris Watts is pacing around looking like he's basically going to pass out, and he's looking at his phone an awful lot. So if we were to cross-reference material from the discovery, we will find out that Chris Watts sends Nicole Kessinger a message at 2:44 p.m. just after this moment right here, when Chris Watts tells Officer Coonrod that Shanann was 15 weeks pregnant. And it says, oh my gosh, that's absolutely ridiculous. They would freak out. Since many of the messages between Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger were erased, we don't know exactly what this message was in reference to, so we can only speculate, but we can hear what Nicole Kessinger has to say about it.
This is the one, I don't know if this is in order.
So guys, isn't that wild? Just at that moment when Chris Watts is pacing around his neighbor Nate's living room, looking all freaked out, sweating bullets, showing all of these indicators of extreme stress and anxiety and, physical, psychological, and emotional strain. He is texting back and forth at that moment with his mistress. We know that. And that is when that message is sent between them where he says, oh my gosh, they would absolutely freak out. And this is what Nicole Kessinger says that message is about. Now, hold on just 1 second. I have to try to maximize my screen here. Ah, man. Just 1 second. All right, it's not going to happen. All right, let me just get back to where we were. All right, so listen to what she says about that.
At 2:44 p.m., just after this moment right here, when Chris Watts tells Officer Coonrod that Shanann was 15 weeks pregnant, and it says, oh my gosh, that's absolutely ridiculous. They would freak out. Since many of the messages between Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger, we don't know exactly what this message was in reference to, so we can only speculate, but we can hear what Nicole Kessinger has to say about it.
This is the one, I don't know if this is in order. I'm not sure exactly what this is referring to. I think this one at the bottom, this, oh my god, that's absolutely ridiculous. They would freak out. Do you remember when I told you, I was always trying to, incorporate his kids and stuff? I mean, even if it wasn't, directly, me and him, but just, I was always thinking of cute stuff when I'd see stuff, and I was like, oh my god, little girls would like that. I would show him, and I found this box of Lucky Charms that was unicorn Lucky Charms. Okay. And I thought they were really cute, and I texted it to him, and I was like, do your little girls know about these? Because they're awesome. And I was like, little stuff like that. Mm-hmm.
So to give the American Horror Story commercial that pops up on the screen when neighbor Nate, Officer Coonrod, and Chris Watts are looking at the security camera footage, trying to find his missing wife who's pregnant and his 2 daughters, when upon the screen pops up a fetus and some other things we're going to discuss in a moment in the American Horror Story commercial. This is all going on while Chris Watts is texting with his mistress about who knows what that culminates into a text. Oh my gosh, that's absolutely ridiculous. They would freak out. That is explained by Nicole Kessinger by, well, you just heard it. So if this American Horror Story commercial is a sign, and if it is a sign that was sent from Shanann to be like, hey, yeah, don't forget us. We were of this earth just a few hours ago, and we are no longer of this earth because of you, jackass. It makes all the more sense to me that it happens in that timing.
So,
Okay, sorry to interrupt here, but I was just reading chat a little bit. So, something that's really important on this channel, I know that everybody has different opinions on what happened in this horrific crime and different opinions of, the people involved and including the surviving family members. But I'll just say it's my personal opinion that the Watts family and the Rusick family have suffered immensely. And it's just a policy on this channel that we demonstrate respect towards all of those people. You might not agree. You might think that one of those people I just mentioned is a horrible person and you have all kinds of nasty things to say about him, but we're just going to try to not do that here, okay? Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
They pulled right here, yeah, but I would have caught her walking out. Diesel. You're good. Yeah, I thought nothing.
Nothing for the rest of the day.
No, that's it.
She's pregnant as well.
How far along?
14, 15 weeks.
Now I know that many people have caught the fetus coming up on the screen at that moment, but whoa, did you see what followed?
Nothing for the rest of the day.
No, that's it.
Now, guys, watch really carefully because I'm going to play the entire commercial that was, starting right here when they were talking to Officer Coonrod in neighbor Nate's living room and that fetus popped up on the television and so many people have observed. What the hell? That timing is insane. Watch the video very carefully, guys, because when you watch the whole video, the parallels and the connections that it has to what Chris Watts had just done, I cannot call it a simple coincidence. In my mind, it is simply not explained by coincidence. Let me know what you think.
She's pregnant as well.
How far along?
14, 15 weeks.
If you're curious to see the tricks out of my sleeve, all you find is yours to keep. Brave, are you brave enough to meet the desires that you see? In my hand I'll set you free.
Let's watch that in slow motion.
Guys, I mean, look at that. It's like these two skulls submerged in this dark, viscous, viscous fluid of sorts, almost like what you could imagine, perhaps, the crude oil, gasoline, water mix in those horrible tanks would be like. I think this is absolutely crazy. Now, I just want to watch that again because I think it's so super important. I don't think enough people have watched that whole commercial for American Horror Story and paid enough attention to those parallels. But I just want to say, I'm not saying anyone's being disrespectful or I'm not judging what you guys are saying at all. And honestly, I do just want to exercise respect to the victims and their family members. I feel like that's important to me. Like I have to create some boundaries. I've been running this channel for 4.5 years and it's been a very divisive, high controversy case all along. And so, obviously I have to keep things civil and create some boundaries. Another piece of it is the battles that I've had with persons, institutions, and even the very platform that we are all gathered together on right now. There's only so much exposure I can have in that regard. So that is why we have a Discord right now, tons of information on a lot of cases over there, and a Patreon over there. If you want to become a member, there's free memberships, there's paid memberships. I have some content over there specifically on this case that is content that I simply could not put on this platform because they will not allow it. When I put it up, it gets taken down. it's almost brought my channel down a few times. So I just want you to know I'm not trying to censor you. That's the last thing I want to do. Certainly not judging you, but like that's just the truth right there, okay? So let's just watch that commercial again.
She's pregnant as well.
How far along?
14, 15 weeks.
Now I know that many people have caught the fetus coming up on the screen at that moment, but whoa, did you see what followed?
Nothing for the rest of the day.
No, that's it.
She's pregnant as well.
How far along?
14, 15 weeks.
If you're curious to see all the tricks that I must leave, all you find is yours to keep. Brave, are you brave enough to meet the desires that you seek? Hold my hand, I'll set you free.
Let's watch that in slow motion.
I just want to say really quick, I really love Daniel Wiley's comment on this. That commercial tells me there are distinct metaphysical forces we do not understand. That is so well said. I mean, if I had to make a summary conclusion of what we just saw and related to this case, I think you hit it spot on.
Wow, that is truly incredible. Please leave a comment letting us know.
Okay, so yeah, so that's the American Horror Story bit, and yeah, there are a couple other channels that did do like some extensive looking into that commercial and the parallels with this case. I'm not going to endorse any because I've had some behind the scenes things with a couple of them, and I think they've done some great work, and I think some of it goes a little too far into conspiracy land. But you know, if you're interested in that, check it out. You certainly will find them. So let's take a look at some of the, you know, more, you know, commonly looked at, I guess, observed paranormal activity. I mean, I am not a huge believer of the paranormal, as I say every time I cover this topic related to this case or any other. But I think sometimes things are just so clear that they are almost undeniable. So let's just listen to some of the EVPs that are heard in the body cam footage. And, you know, when I made this video, I stressed that I went back to the original digital discovery released directly from Weld County. And that's where I got all the body cam footage and the audio from. So I know, because I received it directly from Weld County, that unless Weld County themselves doctored the audio to insert EVP sounding voices into the audio of the body cam, that it was not in any way doctored or altered.
Anyone after it left the hands of Weld County to share with you these disembodied voices that you can hear throughout that video. So it's not like some creator just, you know, messed around with the audio and put those disembodied voices into the body cam footage. No. Everything you're going to be listening to is straight from the original Weld County digital discovery release of that particular body cam. Since I'm talking about that body cam and the EVPs, I'm going to share with you right now the very first EVP that I heard in that body cam footage. And guys, it just freaking blew me away. As soon as I heard it, I got chills all over my entire body. Something just really came over me. And every time I have heard it since, I have a very similar reaction. So listen to this.
There's a pair of her shorts.
Oh my gosh, did you guys hear that? Let me just isolate the EVP here. This is our home. Wow, guys, please, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think about that. Do you hear it? Do you think it's just random noise? Do you think it is something paranormal? I'm just going to play you one other EVP sound that I found while I was making this video, and I don't think it has been found before. At least it's not included in content about the EVPs, perhaps in this body cam footage as they go through the Watts house. Or I should say, I haven't seen it in any content of the sort that I just described. So if I'm wrong, you know, don't crucify me in the comments. You can just let me know that you have heard it before and where you heard it, and that would be great. And this particular one starts kind of a whole series of a couple minutes of a few EVPs, some sort of heavy activity, if you want to call it.
It could mean a high intense fight. So it could mean several things because the body chemistry changes.
Sure.
On all that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. A lot of these are motion activated.
Did you guys hear that? Chris. Yeah, so clear as day, Chris. Right after that, the in-home alarm, beep beep. Now, I just want to.
So, Alice in Wonderland said, I'm glad we're not doing this on Halloween itself. It's creepy enough as it is. We are doing the part 2 to this next week on Halloween, next Friday. And that's when we're going to go, you know, the deepest into the Nicole Kessinger occult stuff. We're going to touch on that today for sure in just a few minutes. But yep, stay tuned. We will continue this topic discussion and live stream a week from today on Halloween.
I want you to notice what Jane the dog handler is talking about right before you hear that EVP.
It could mean a high intense fight. So it could mean several things because the body chemistry changes.
Sure.
On all that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So again, as I was making this video, I noticed that every time you hear an EVP, something is said by someone or something is done immediately preceding it that would kind of invoke the energy of what is being uttered by that disembodied voice. Jane is discussing how the dog is getting a little excited, and that excitement could be caused by the smell of a high intensity fight, because a high intensity fight is going to change your hormonal composition. It's going to make you smell different to a sensitive animal like a dog. And this dog in particular is a search and rescue dog. So Jane's dog is trained to pick up on those smells of extreme distress. So that EVP, after the Vivint alarm system goes off and Officer Line says, oh, they're usually motion detected alarms. That's kind of interesting too. That says, Chris, or that sounds like it says, Chris. That starts off a series of what could be considered, and I tend to believe, are paranormal occurrences. So 2 of them being EVPs, and then something shocking happens that is not an EVP because Officer Lines and Jane, the dog handler, hear it as well. So we're together going to watch that segment of Officer Lines' body cam footage that is just about 2.5 minutes long, that is a series of potential paranormal occurrences. Okay, so as just stated, we're just going to watch this series of potential EVPs here in the body cam footage. Then we're going to shift gears and look at Nicole Kessinger's phone data history, who she was calling the day before and the day of the murders, and how that connects to the group OTO and the occult. Pay close attention.
A lot of these are motion activated. These are the shoes that she took the scent off of.
Okay. That's you. Well, there's plenty of her scent in here.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What in the world is that? Wow.
Okay, so a lot in the potentially paranormal realm happened there in just a couple of minutes. I'm going to continue to play this video a little bit so you can see the reaction of Jane the dog handler and the officer to hearing that sound in the closet. Now that giggle, that very overt giggle, that has been debunked. The dog did step on a doll in the closet. You know, of all the things that people thought could perhaps be EVPs or paranormal here, that's the one that is a little bit hokey. So I'm just going to scoot past this a little bit. Is the discovery set. So let's continue to watch a little bit more of that video after the Jane and the officer hear those creepy ass giggles, and then I'm going to have a lot more to say about that cluster of unexplained sounds or voices.
Go in there and step on that little blue thing and see if that's where that noise came.
Yeah, it sounded like a kid toy.
It might. It sort of sounds like it.
Something. There was a. I heard it.
That one. Did you hear it?
I did.
Sounded like a kid giggling or something, didn't it? Or a kid.
It did.
Where did that come from? Because all he did was go straight in there. That was strange, but we'll make a note of that.
I heard it. I definitely heard the same thing you did.
Yeah, and then he just sort of turned around and looked.
So again, in that cluster of unexplained sounds, we have the sound Chris. And then in Shanann's office, we hear Mommy. Shortly right before, we hear the giggles in the closet that clearly Jane the dog handler was freaked out by, don't you think? I mean, she scooted right out of there. She asked Officer Lyons, why didn't you go in there and step on that blue thing? See if that's what made the noise. You know, she's explaining the dog just walked straight back, and she clearly does not see anything in her mind that could have possibly made that sound, and she is bugged out. I think Officer Lyons is a little, you know, weary too, but, you know, she's a cop and she's playing it cool. What do you guys think about that? Now, here is something that I find to be very, very interesting. The place in the house where this cluster of unexplained sounds occurred. Before we hear the unexplained sound that sounds like crazy. Okay, so now this is what I really find to be the most interesting part. Once you get past, you know, hearing these sounds that sound like disembodied voices that many believe are EVPs. And I can't believe I'm saying this anytime I say it, but I have come to believe that some of them must be EVPs or something of that nature. When you consider where they happen in the body cam footage and where they happen within the house, I think personally that makes for a very interesting study. Let me know what you guys think. Jane is out in the hallway outside of Shanann's office. And in that same hallway right next door is the downstairs bathroom. The office and the bathroom are kind of in their own little hallway here. And then on either side of that office bathroom hallway is the entrance to the garage. And then right around the other corner is the entrance to the stairway down into the basement. And the office and the bathroom are kind of in their own little hallway here. And then on either side of that office bathroom hallway is the entrance to the garage. And then right around the other corner is the entrance to the stairway down into the basement. Now, you know, if you have watched a lot of my content, and particularly my video about what happened in the basement, you have a good idea of what I think happened in the basement, and it is significant and gruesome and horrible. And also we know that the garage is a place where there was a lot of horrible, tragic activity that night as Chris Watts brought his family members out to his truck through the garage and then drove them to Survey 319. Oh my gosh. So the basement and the garage in the Watts house are two hallowed location where unthinkable acts occurred. Okay, so let's go on to listen to some more of the EVPs that can be heard during that body cam footage when they are doing the search through the house with the dogs.
So there's your attic access right there.
And oh my gosh, guys, I think this one sends chills up my spine every time. I think in addition to the one that we just listened to, the first one, This Is Our Home, to me, this is the most chilling. You can very clearly hear a voice saying, I'm with Cece. Listen again.
So there's your attic access right there.
Now, shortly after Officer Lyons and Jane with her dog enter the house, you can very clearly hear something that sounds like a voice saying, shouting, no. And then what is also interesting about it is what Jane, the dog handler, says right after. Take a listen. Jane says, that's interesting. That's interesting. I'm taking note. That's interesting. But we don't know what she's talking about. And it happens right after we hear the voice shouting, no. And finally, we have what I think are the most significant EVPs. We have Officer Lyons and another dog handler walking out into the garage, and I'm not going to put any words on the screen. Let me see if you... Now, this particular EVP here, I have never... Let me know if you've heard any other channels or people or you yourself have noticed it and have talked about it. This was the one that I just noticed for the first time when I was making the last video that I dropped a few weeks ago, but I hear it like clear as bell now. Let me know if you hear something you believe is being said here. You hear the EVP, and I want to know, what do you think is said, if anything? What I think I hear is, let's look there. I've noticed a bunch of people have pointed this out, that they hear something, but they weren't sure what was heard, so I slowed down the audio and worked in my audio editor, and what I hear is, let's look there. So guys, I'll be honest, prior to watching this video and hearing these sounds that sound like voices saying certain things related to this family, I knew about EVPs, and I had watched some things before where there were supposed EVPs saying actual words, and you know, usually it doesn't sound like anything to me. There have been some occasions where I thought, oh, okay, wait, so there's some discussion about that last one. Ara says that was probably the officer whispering to themselves. Just listen to it again, because I don't know, this is one that I'm really interested in for some reason when they go into the garage. All right, coming up right here-ish. And finally, we have what I think are the most significant EVPs. We have Officer Lyons and another dog handler walking out into the garage, and I'm not going to put any words on the screen. Let me see if you hear the EVP, and I want to know, what do you think is said, if anything? What I think I hear is, let's look there. And it's almost like it's like a British accent or something, like, let's look there. to what you were saying, Ara, I was just like considering that, but to me, it doesn't sound like the officer's voice at all. But this is all subjective, of course.
I've noticed a bunch of people have pointed this out, that they hear something, but they weren't sure what was heard. So I slowed down the audio and worked in my audio editor. And what I hear is, let's look there. So guys, I'll be honest, prior to watching this video and hearing these sounds.
Okay, so that's that. And if you want to watch this video, if you haven't seen it, I dropped it a few weeks ago, so it's there in the recent releases, or you can just search Watch the Obsession, Chris Watts Paranormal, something like that. Hey Jessica, how are you doing? I've seen a whole bunch of people coming in, and Kayla, I haven't seen you in a while. Some OGs here, some new people. Everybody, I'm so glad you're here. You're absolutely welcome if you're new to the channel. Especially if you're an OG, you haven't been here a while, please say hello. Let us know you're here. Let us know where you're joining us from, and we would love to hear what you think. So we're going to switch gears a little bit so we can talk about Nicole Kessinger and her potential connection to doing dark things, to being involved in dark things, to perhaps having dark rituals or practices in her life. Now, I'm not saying that any of these things happen for sure, because the truth is, guys, we don't have hard evidence of this, but there is circumstantial evidence, so to speak, of her connection with, well, let's just start to listen to this timeline. I'm going to bring in a video of Footsteps of Murder, and it's a timeline of all of the activities, including the phone activity for the day of the murders. Just stick with me. We're going somewhere here. Hey, Karen G, nice to see you.
2:09 and 52 seconds p.m., Officer Coonrod asks Chris if he has checked upstairs, in case Shanann was passed out somewhere.
You checked upstairs? She's not there? I just want to make sure she's not passed out somewhere. Is she diabetic?
2:10 p.m., Christina Meacham texts Chris saying, "What is going on? Where are you? We are so worried, what the fuck?" 2:10 and 1 second p.m., Chris proceeds to go down to the basement, not upstairs. He talks to the dog as though Dieter is in the basement, but when he comes back upstairs he tells Officer Coonrod he's going to get the dog out and lets him out from his crate in the mudroom. You hear him open the crate and let him out. He then takes him out to the back garden.
You mind if I look around? Go ahead. Okay, thanks. Oh, you're fine. Oh, you're fine.
2:11 p.m., Chris sent a message to Shanann's phone saying, "Where are you?" 2:12 and 20 seconds p.m., Shanann's phone is found by Nicholas Atkinson.
I'm checking the house for consent. Oh.
2:12 and 48 seconds p.m., Chris states to Officer Coonrod that all the girls' blankets are gone, the blankets they sleep with.
All the girls' blankies are gone. Their blanket they sleep with, they don't leave anywhere without them.
Good.
2:13 and 20 seconds p.m., Chris tells Nicole Atkinson her phone's here.
Her phone's here.
2:14 and 3 seconds p.m., Chris couldn't switch on Shanann's phone as the phone passcode was changed. Nicole said she didn't know the code but Cassie did. It was the baby's due date, 013119.
1, 31, 8, 19.
2:14 and 18 seconds p.m. Shanann's phone logs on the home router. 2:14 p.m. Text messages from Nicole Atkinson were received by Shanann's phone. They included, "Just wanted to see if you were okay. I know you were hurting a lot last night. Hope you're okay, let me know how your appointment goes. I have been to your house, you won't open your door. Your alarm is set, your shoes are sitting inside, your car's home, I am so very concerned about you right now. I need you to text me or call me and just tell me okay. If you don't want to talk to nobody, you don't want to be around nobody, I get it, it's fine, but I need to know you're okay." 2:15 p.m. Nicole Atkinson is on her phone talking, and she also texts Shanann saying, "I have the cop at your house." I don't understand why she would do this when she knows Shanann's phone has been found. 2:17 and 10 seconds p.m. Nicole Atkinson passes Chris her phone to talk with Sandra, Shanann's mom. 2:19 and 19 seconds p.m. Chris hands the phone back to Nicole. 2:19 and 26 seconds p.m. Chris is checking on his phone. 2:20 and 6 seconds p.m. Chris receives a message and sends out 2 messages. 2:14 p.m. Nicole Atkinson is messaging someone on her phone. At the same time, Chris is looking at his phone.
Now just hang tight. We're getting to the phone activity that is suspect to many people from Nicole Kessinger. And I think it's really interesting to notice when these correspondence or calls or messages are going on between Nicole Kessinger and these questionable sources or people or advisors. And what else is going on with everybody else as this crime scene unfolds.
Pull up the video at the 12:10. See, was it front door?
12:10, that was Nikki.
That was you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Ed was beeping at me out in the field.
(2:25 p.m.) Ring retrieval. Chris said it was on the nightstand next to Shanann's side of the bed. (2:25 p.m.) Nicole Atkinson is checking her phone, didn't hear or see her send messages. 2:26 p.m. Chris text Christina Meacham saying, "The police are here, call you when I know." 2:27 p.m. Chris texts Troy McCoy saying, "Cops are here." 2:28 p.m. Robert from Humana and a said member of OTO, Ordo Templi Orientis, called Kessinger and held a 3-minute conversation.
Okay, so here is one of the questionable correspondence. So let's listen to that again. Let me just go back a little tiny bit, guys.
"Police are here, call you when I know." 2:27 p.m. Chris texts Troy McCoy saying, "Cops are here." 2:28 p.m. Robert from Humana and a said member of OTO, Ordo Templi Orientis, called Kessinger and held a 3-minute conversation. Her phone.
Okay, now this is the person who is said to be her spiritual advisor from the group OTO or Ordo Templi Orientis. And we're going to talk about that in a minute, but there's another connection here in just a couple minutes. So let's finish out this timeline and then we're going to swing back and talk all about it.
registers in Platteville. 2:30 and 54 seconds p.m., Chris receives a phone call. I believe he said it was her mom.
Hey. I'm still talking to the officer right now. Okay, bye. I will, definitely. Bye-bye. Sorry about that. Tell them all.
2:31 and 26 seconds p.m., Chris's personal phone logs on router. It seems his phone does not stay logged on the router sometimes when he is at home. 2:31 and 37 seconds p.m., Chris is making a phone call. 2:32 and 3 seconds p.m., call answered. Chris says, "Hey Sarah, it's Chris Watts. Have you heard from Shanann today?" Sarah, he says, is from Aurora.
Hey Sarah, it's Chris Watts. Not too bad. Have you heard from Shanann today? No, I have not. You're my last person to call. So I'm just, alright. I don't want to make you nervous or anything, but I'll keep you posted. No. Okay, thank you. Bye.
And she lives around here?
She lives in Aurora.
2:35 p.m., Robert from Manor and a said member of OTO, Ordo Templi Orientis, called Kessinger again and held a 1-minute conversation. Her phone registers in Platteville. 2:35.
Okay, so at 2:28 p.m. on the day of the murders, and this would be just about, now if you remember, guys, okay, let me finish that thought. 2:28 on the day of the murders, Nicole Kessinger calls this apparent spiritual advisor of hers from OTO, or Ordo Templi Orientis. I hope I'm saying that correct. Got to brush up on my Latin, y'all. And they hold a 4-minute conversation. So 2:28 to 2:32, 4-minute conversation. And then 3 minutes after the conversation ends, at 2:35, this Robert from OTO, her apparent spiritual advisor, he has been looked into, including by myself. He is somebody who is well thought of in that organization. We're going to talk about that organization in just a minute, who would be somebody's spiritual mentor, advisor, or guru of sorts. Don't like saying that because I don't see him as being that, but that's maybe what she considers him. So right after the 4-minute conversation ends, 3 minutes later, he calls her back and they talk for really, it's just under 2 minutes. Now, okay, hold those times in your mind, okay? 2:28, moderator, somebody put these times in the chat. 2:28 to, let's say, 2:37. For most of that time period, 2:28 to 2:37, Nicole Kessinger is on the phone with that spiritual advisor of sorts from that group that many believe is an occult group, and you're going to be able to judge for yourself in just a few minutes because we're going to go over them in a factual way. 2:28 to 2:37. Now, what else do we know about Nicole Kessinger's phone activity during that time? Well, remember, if you were here when we were watching the footage of Chris Watts and neighbor Nate's living room, when Officer Coonrod, Nate, and Chris were reviewing the security footage of Chris Watts making trips from the house back and forth to the truck. Well, let's put that together. So I'm going to have to bring something back into the stream here. I'm going to have to find it here. I didn't even think to make this connection beforehand, but it's important. Give me just a sec. I'm just going to have to start playing it and find the time.
At 7:40, Watts sends Shanann.
Okay. Oh. Okay, we got to go forward a bit. Bear with me, y'all, please.
Wonders a bit when he arrives at neighbor Nate's house with Officer Coonrod, and they're watching the security camera footage of him taking things to his truck in the early morning hours that very same day.
What's that?
Nothing on there.
You just have
My camera.
truck up to the drive.
Lay down.
I'm loading my stuff up in my coolers, my water jugs, my book bag, my computers, some of the tools that I had from the toolbox. I knew I was going to have to do some pumping unit rubbers today. That's why I was out so far.
Is this on continually recording?
Yep. Well,
It's not. Is it
any
motion or is it?
event.
Okay, so it's motion.
Any motion event that happens, but I get cars driving from this street,
So at this point, we're just noticing how nervous Chris Watts is. Nevertheless, he is still paying, giving intense attention to that phone, right?
And this is him at 517.
I usually park out there on the side. I just want to get everything back in. Be easier to lug everything out there, all the tools that I had to bring in. What else can I do with this?
My detective just showed up, so he'll probably want to talk to you. He'd probably, like I said, he might have you call at the bank and see if there's any kind of activity.
Because if there was any sort of action out there,
His camera's
I would have got it.
Like
Right.
we had issues the other week when people were stealing stuff.
Give me just one sec. I have to see if I can make this bigger. My screen yard is like minimized itself. You gotta give me a second here. It's just gonna help me get you guys through all this. Damn, come on. Just wait a moment while I have a little tantrum. All right, I'm just gonna have to keep playing it. I can't maximize it. It's all good. We're almost there.
Stuff out of like garages and stuff like that. And I have parked my truck
I
up
have
here.
it parked right here.
Yeah. So someone,
See if
I could
anything
see where
happens.
someone tried to jimmy with a flathead screwdriver over there, and it was just like.
But if any action would have happened, any cars or anything left your house, I would
Yeah, if it would have been like right in that area, they should have picked. I mean.
Oh, it'll pick up anything coming down the street this way.
You know where that tree there too?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Watch, I'll show you. There's nothing on here. We've already watched that one. But like, you'll see this car.
What security system do you have?
Extended. Oh, look, you can see this car starting to drive down the street. here.
That one.
Oh, look. Okay.
See what I'm saying? It picks up all the way down there.
That's cool.
He's next door.
Can we go?
I was talking about dispatcher. He'll be close for.
But yeah, we can pick up cars coming this way. I get anything coming this way and making this turn. So, and usually at night I pick up the cars pulling a ear trim. So, unless they pulled right here,
Yeah.
but I would have caught her walking out. Diesel.
You're good.
But yeah, I thought nothing.
Nothing for the rest of the day.
No, that's it.
She's pregnant as well.
How far along?
14, 15 weeks.
All right. So hold up for just a second here. So let's put this together, okay? So Cuff you and Shady, and thank you for everybody who put those times up. Says 2:28 through 2:37, roughly during that time. NK was on the call with her guru from OTO, okay? So now it is according to the timestamp. Since I can't maximize it, I have to open another screen. Let me just make sure I'm right about this. Hold up. So now we're looking at it. It is 2:41, almost 2:42. So that's just about 5 minutes after she gets off the call with that guru from OTO. That's when the fetus pops up in the American Horror Story commercial. And Chris says, oh, yeah, she's pregnant as well, 14, 15 weeks. He doesn't know. He's clueless, as always. And then what happens next? Also, just shortly after she gets off the phone call with a guru, so to speak, from OTO. This is how we put the crime together.
That's why her friend said it was low blood sugar.
Now, before we go into the sign sent straight from the American Horror Story commercial, I just want you to notice something. If you were to take a look at Officer Coonrod's body cam clock, right now, when Chris Watts is saying, oh, and she's pregnant, she's 14, 15 weeks pregnant, fesses that up for the first time to Officer Coonrod, it is 2:42 p.m. Now, I'm sure you notice all the while when Officer Coonrod and neighbor Nate are looking at the security camera footage and they're focusing on it, Chris Watts is pacing around looking like he's basically going to pass out, and he's looking at his phone an awful lot. So if we were to cross-reference material from the discovery, we will find out that Chris Watts sends Nicole Kessinger a message at 2:44 p.m. just after this moment right here, when Chris Watts tells Officer Coonrod that Shanann was 15 weeks pregnant. And it says, oh my gosh, that's absolutely ridiculous. They would freak out. Since my
Okay, so do you guys like kind of see that little cluster of a timeline there? So we have, as Cuffy has up on the screen there, from 228 to 237 roughly. Nicole Kessinger is on the phone with her guru from OTO after she had reached out to him at 228, and they'd been calling each other back and forth and been on the phone most of that time. It's just less than 5 minutes later that Chris gets that signal, that sign, that coincidence where the fetus pops up on the screen. He starts talking about Shanann's pregnancy. And about 2 minutes after that is when that really strange text exchange happens between Chris Watts' mistress, Nicole Kessinger, and Chris Watts' mistress, where he responds by saying, oh my God, that is absolutely ridiculous. They would freak out. But really, does it have something to do with what she was talking about with Robert from OTO? And then she explains it away by saying, oh, it was that box of Lucky Charms. What do you guys think about that? Isn't that strange? And isn't it interesting to see how much we can put together and find out about what was really going on when you put all these pieces of information together?
Many of the messages between Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger were erased. We don't know exactly what this message was in reference to, so we can only speculate, but we can hear what Nicole Kessinger has to say about it.
This is the one, I don't know if this is in order. I'm not sure exactly what this is referring to. I think this one at the bottom, this, oh my God, that's absolutely ridiculous. They would freak out. That, do you remember when I told you, like, I was always trying to, like, incorporate his kids and stuff? I mean, even if it wasn't, like, directly, like, me and him.
Bullshit, by the way.
But just, like, I was always thinking of cute stuff when I'd see stuff, and I was like, oh my God, little girls would like that. I would show him, and I found this box of Lucky Charms that was unicorn Lucky Charms. Okay. And I thought they were really cute, and I texted it to him, and I was like, do your little girls know about these? Because they're awesome. And I was like, little stuff like that.
So to give the American Horror Story.
Okay, so if we were to believe that, we would have to believe that at 2:28, Nicole is calling her spiritual advisor from that occult group, as many people believe. They're on the phone with one another for the better part of the time span between 2:28 p.m. and 2:37 p.m. And then just about 5 minutes later after that, she is getting off the phone with her spiritual guru, and she is texting Chris Watts about a box of unicorn Lucky Charms cereal because she cares so much about the girls, to which he says, oh my God, that's absolutely ridiculous. They would absolutely freak out. I do not buy that at all. Hey, Juliet Thomas says, I just got in the chat, but this is the perfect time of year for this. If the house wasn't cursed before, which I don't believe it was because it was built from ground up. Yeah, and it is the perfect time of year. We're going to be doing a part 2, a continuation of today's live 1 week from today, which will be Halloween. I hope you guys will all join us then too. So, okay, so what is OTO anyway? Well, we're going to refer to a website. This is, the website is, I'll put in the description box. It's caseclosedcrimefiles.com/Chris Watts the occult. So let me bring that in for you and we'll take a look at the information here to start. The occult. And I'm sorry, my son has a bunch of friends over. If you hear teenage boys in the background, it's just what's going on in my house right now. Okay. The occult. Ordo Templi or Orientis. Ordo Templi Orientis, OTO, Order of the Temple of the East or Order of the Oriental Templars, is a ritual magic organization founded in Germany around 1904. The order found its inspiration in the medieval Knights Templar, who were suppressed through most of Europe in the 14th century. Among the charges made against the order were that they practiced various forms of illicit sex, specifically sodomy and bestiality. Dude, YouTube is going to crucify me just for that. Oh well. That's why we have Patreon. Aleister Crowley, who is said to be the leader of this group, right? The modern day leader. Aleister Crowley joined the OTO and became the outer head of the Order for England. He was also invited to rewrite much of the ritual material. The order was organized in a Masonic manner with a system of 10 degrees, progress upward through the degrees, admitting the members to more of the inner teachings. In the first 6 degrees of the OTO, students were taught a general occult system that prepared them for introduction of the sexual magic presented by the 7th, 8th, and 9th degrees. The 10th degree was purely administrative. Crowley later introduced an 11th degree based upon his homoerotic predilections. Allegedly, Nicole Kessinger is a member of the Ansata Oasis. Now, this gets pretty freaking interesting, all right? What is the date of the murders of Shanann, Bella, and Celeste, and baby Nico? So sadly, in the wee early morning hours of August 13th, 2018, according to Central Mountain Time, all right? So the feast for the first night of the prophet and his bride, Rose, Edith Kelly, and Aleister Crowley were married on August 12th, 1903. Well, August 12th, 2018 was the day of the 111-minute phone call between Nicole Kessinger and Chris Watts. It's also the day that I know, because we have obtained that information that is factual, she gave him the final ultimatum when she saw 3 Facebook posts from Shanann Watts that were posted to Facebook that day that were removed from Shanann's Facebook account shortly after Shanann passed away. I have them. I've shown them in other videos. I can show them again too. I don't have them keyed up right now, but we can do that next week if you want. And essentially the 3, and my Ultimatum 2 video talks about this as well. So essentially the 3 Facebook posts from Shanann that were posted to her Facebook page that day that were removed shortly after her death spanned from 2:38 p.m. Again, this is Sunday, the eve of the deaths. And the last one was posted at 11:17. I'm sorry. 11. No, that was the end of. It was posted 9 minutes. I'm sorry, 11 minutes. Lots of 11s here. 11 minutes before the 111-minute phone call ended. So that would make it at 11:06 p.m. And those 3 posts that were posted from around 2:30 p.m. till just before the 111-minute call ended, a little after 11, basically said, I just can't wait to get back to my wonderful husband, Chris, and to my babies. So Nicole Kessinger saw these posts going up on Shannan's Facebook page that day, and she was like, yo, dude, clearly your wife is happy to get home to you and to her family and to her children. She's excited to be home with you, and she's pregnant with a baby in her belly. Like, what the fuck is this all about? And that's when the ultimatum was given to Chris Watts. Well, very interesting. It is that same date. And could this be a coincidence? Sure, it could. I don't lean really either way on this. I need to learn a lot more about it. And that's one of the reasons I'm talking about. Now, I haven't, covered this topic fully in any semblance of the word fully, because I've just always been on the fence about it. But let's just do this together. So it was on August 12th, which would be the date of the eve of the murders, 1903, allowing her to escape an arranged marriage. This So that's when Aleister Crowley, the contemporary leader of OTO, and his woman got married. The date of the eve of the murders. This marriage, first of convenience, led to what would turn out to be one of the most important events of Crowley's life, the writing of the Book of Law. Rose and Alistair had 2 children, Newt Ma and Thor. I'm not even trying that. Okay, and Lola Zaza. Thank you for that easier name. Rose and Alistair were divorced in 1909. The first night of the Prophet and his bride is a Thelemic holiday. Its primary purpose is to celebrate the anniversary of Crowley's marriage to Rose that made possible the reception of the Book of the Law, which is essentially, as I understand it, the Bible of OTO. Crowley's comments, there should be a special feast on the 12th day of August in every year, since it was the marriage of the beast which made possible the revelation of the new law. This is not an apology for marriage. Hard cases make bad law. So it says here, Sunday, August 12, 2018 was the 115th feast for the first night of the Prophet and his bride. Well, what do you all think about that? Oh yeah, definitely give me that research. Please, please, please. There's really so much to cover on this topic because I really, like I said, have not covered it all fully before. Alice in Wonderland says, Kelly, wasn't Shanann supposed to arrive home on the 12th originally? Yes, she was. And it's only because of those horrific storms in Arizona that her plane was almost 3 hours late. And she didn't actually get home to her home in Frederick, Colorado until 1:48 a.m. in the early morning hours of the 13th. Good call. People have asked me this. Do I watch Sloan Bella? Have I watched Sloan Bella on this topic? I haven't. I don't actually know who she is, but I think I might now because a lot of people have recommended it. I just keep looking. It's the obsession. um, well, CE says, I'd like to know the history of the land this house is built on. Well, look, I can tell you this. I live in upstate New York, and in upstate New York, rather somewhat close to me, is a beautiful, beautiful town of Saratoga, New York. Saratoga, New York, there is this amazing concert venue we call it the SPAC, Saratoga Performing Arts Centers, where I've seen Dave Matthews, Pearl Jam, and a ton of other artists a million times. It's a really great venue. There's also the Saratoga horse racing track. My dad used to have racehorses with one of his I don't know. I'm not a big fan of racing horses, but it's a very popular activity there, and it is an absolutely beautiful town. And I can tell you that Saratoga, as is the street that I live on right now, I'm not going to tell you the name of that, but a lot up here where I live in upstate New York, and Saratoga is included in this, a lot of the names of the cities, the towns, the streets, the rivers are named after their Indian names, Native American names, and Saratoga absolutely is one of those. And as you may or may not know, the Watts lived at 2825 Saratoga Trail. Really could not get a more Native American name than that. I always thought that was a little bit interesting. Hey, Clover D, great to see you. Bye, Kara Yimloy. I'm glad that you were here. Oh, my nephew's 16th birthday. Oh, my son's 17th birthday was just last weekend. Shady says, too many coincidences means not a coincidence at all, in my opinion. Absolutely. Karen G tells us supposedly ritual sacrifice on August 13th. Yeah. Kaylee, hey Kaylee, how's it going? Echoes what Alice in Wonderland concluded. Yes, oh my God, Shanann was supposed to be home on the 12th before midnight. Yep, you guys are totally right about that. I hadn't even considered that in this equation yet. Amy says, I don't believe in coincidences. Lori Roma says this would explain why NK walked away scot-free. Edward wonders, I wonder if she got home earlier, if this would ever have happened. The fact is, we'll never know, and it's irrelevant. Yeah, I personally feel it would have happened all the same. I think at this point, the ultimatum was laid down. The choices had been made by Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger, and Satan willing, it was a done deal. Edward says, as the saying goes, you can't unring a bell. Absolutely. Sorry, the kids are getting loud here. So, the boys are getting loud here. So I'm going to bring in a video that discusses a little bit about what OTO is. I'm going to be real honest. I haven't watched it yet. So we're watching and learning this together. I'm sorry, hold it. I've got to actually download it. It's going to just buffer. God, I had that going on. You're going to have to give me a second, guys. Let's see. While you're giving me a second, graciously, thank you so much. Let's just go back to a little more of the paranormal EVP and other energy stuff. It's going to take me just a couple minutes to download here.
5:06 p.m.
Chris, wrong one. Got a lot of content up here. Just got to find the right one. Here we go.
That sound like voices saying certain things related to this family. I knew about EVPs, and I had watched some things before where there were supposed EVPs saying actual words, and usually it doesn't sound like anything to me. There have been some occasions where I thought, oh, there is something to it. But after watching this video and hearing what I hear in this video, I am a believer in EVPs. What is it that could be causing those sounds that sounds like words related to the family? We're going to watch a video clip from the paranormal investigator named Franco. That is the name of his channel, and I'll put it in the description box. He had been to the Watts house before, and he's returning a second time, and he's using thermal imaging. Take a look.
Now, let's use a thermal imaging camera and see what we can see. This should actually be pretty interesting. Hold on, let me put the tan cam away for a second. That's the house through the thermal. This thing is awesome.
I'm sorry, I'm skipping around too much. Here I am. I'm going to stop skipping around so you guys can watch.
Again, this is coming straight from an infrared perspective. Look, it looks like somebody else just came in on the far left. Oh, my arm is getting tired. Oh, whoa. Look. That is so creepy. It looks... I'm not even going to tell you what it looks like. You guys... I'll leave that up to you guys. But oh my God.
So what you are seeing there, where you're seeing the impressions from the thermal imaging, is in Bella's room. That is the window to Bella's bedroom.
So what happened next? Bella came in the room? Is that what happened? Bella came in?
What'd she say? Oh, why? Did she hear something? Is that what
Sorry, my bad again.
Again, this is coming straight.
All right, let me just pause this for a minute. I'm going to bring something else into this stream. When I'm jumping around from all these different pieces of content I have up here for you guys, it's just a little hard on StreamYard. So let me see. Remove from studio. And then I'm going to bring this up. Give me just one moment. So again, now we're looking at what is OTO? What is this? All right.
Better known as Ordo Templi Orientis, or merely OTO, is the first religious body to base its work on the law of Thelema. OTO is essentially a vehicle for organizing and mobilizing under the law. Since we can't expect any sort of deus ex machina to take us to a new Jerusalem, the old social forms are obsolete and oppressive, and humans need social contexts in which to temper and express our individual wills. Crowley introduced the law of Thelema to OTO in the early decades of the 20th century, but without his leadership, the order went into a dormant period for the 30 years following his death. Starting in the 1970s, surviving members began to reorganize, and growth has been fairly steady ever since. There are now thousands of active members organized in over 40 different countries worldwide. The United States is one of 5 with a Grand Lodge or national section. OTO includes 2 outer rites or systems of ceremony for the purpose of realizing the divine in the human. The first of these is Ecclesia Gnostica Catholica, a church body whose central ritual is a symbolic drama called the Gnostic Mass, intended to cultivate religious ecstasy without moralizing or superstition. Since the Book of the Law affirms that every man and every woman is a star, our church requires priestesses as well as priests.
Now, do you remember the Book of the Law was a book, which is the Law of OTO now, as far as I understand it, that was written by Aleister Crowley in a moment of inspiration that he attributes to only having been possible due to the marriage of his wife Rose, which happened on that sacred day in this tradition, August 12th, 1906 or something like that. But August 12th is the important part.
Clergy organize group ceremonies, but we do not serve as intermediaries between the individual and his or her God. The most important form of deity in Thelema is the Algoides, personal genius, or holy guardian angel, which is understood to be unique for each individual. A person baptized in the church affirms, "I will know my own will. I will do my own will. I will rejoice in the will of my God." The other outer rite of OTO is Mysteria Mystica Maxima, a set of graduated initiations using the methods of Freemasonry and the ancient mystery cults. Fraternal temple initiation in person may seem somewhat antiquated, and indeed, the heyday of such work in the United States was the late 1800s. But living 21st century lives in smartphones and video displays deprives us of many of the contacts and sensory channels that previously would have integrated us into age-old networks of human consciousness. The OTO degrees redress these faults, while developing self-discipline and self-knowledge towards the goals of individual liberty and universal brotherhood. Another important but still largely unrealized dimension of OTO is the establishment of intentional communities centered on profess houses. Crowley briefly operated such a project, the Abbey of Thelema in Cefalù in the 1920s. And late in life, he was making plans for another, to be called the Green Lion, which never came to fruition. The creative opportunity to bring such communities into existence is important, however, to the Thelemic movement as a whole, because despite our emphasis on the liberty of the individual, we recognize that many of the most admirable and challenging aspects of human existence can only manifest in cooperation with others. People today intuitively grasp the obsolescence of many aspects of our social system. The reduction of men and women to consumers results in profound alienation, compensated only by the most superficial of freedoms.
Now that right there sounded very Nicole Kessinger to me.
The law of Thelema challenges us all to find a deeper sort of liberty that can empower us to remake society in a world that has already shifted under our feet. For my part, I maintain that Thelema is first and foremost the formula of spiritual development most suited to our cultural and historical circumstances. It includes a philosophy based on super-rational experiences. It provides a basis for sacred observance that synthesizes the best elements.
Okay, do you want to hear what this weirdo has to say? But he is buffering a little bit. So Shady says, he said he liberated himself. And Shady, I know that you're talking about Chris Watts because you're right, he did. He said that to his father. When his father asked him about his Facebook page, did you delete your Facebook page? Yes, I did, Father. He did that on August 8th, 2018, just do the math, Cal. 5 days before the murders, really 4.5 days, just 2 days after the family returned back in Colorado from North Carolina. If you want to know all about the circumstances surrounding him deleting his Facebook page, watch my ultimatum video and you will learn all about that. So yeah, that's really good catch. Really good catch. I don't know if I would have connected that. Right. Yeah. And Shady says he was saying their words. Well, yeah, right? Cuffew says, I found some dark shite on this stuff. Give me it all. We'll talk about it next week. Or you can too if you'd like. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm gonna get rid of this guy. Later, dude. That was weird. And let's hear some people. And just so you know, one of the center of OTO in the United States is, of course, what state of the union? Oh, well, that would naturally be Colorado, right? Of course. So let me bring some local yokels. Truly, no, I don't know. I actually haven't watched this video yet either. I'm going to be honest. We're going to watch it together. Into the stream. They look like they're from Colorado. This gentleman's wearing a Rocky Mountain something or other shirt. Let's see what they have to say. They are OTOers. I don't know what you'd call them. I don't mean to be disrespectful to people that follow this tradition, but I'm just not as learned as I should be about it.
Hello, everybody out there watching our Blue Antler videos. Today, I had to write this down because I knew I was going to mess it up a little bit, but I'm sitting here with Soror Holly, and Soror means sister, is that correct? And she is the master of Horus Camp, the local body of the OTO local to our area. So we're gonna do a Meet the OTO night at Blue Antler in November, and then subsequently after that. So check out the Facebook page, our events page, for dates and times. But I wanted to kind of sit down with Holly and just ask her kind of what the OTO is, because I didn't really know, and kind of see what she has to say, and also give you a chance to meet her beforehand, so that when you show up, you already kind of feel like you know her and you've been introduced. And yeah, so we'll go from there. So thank you for sitting down with me.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
What is the OTO?
Well, the OTO stands for Ordo Templi Orientis, which is Latin for Order of the Eastern Templars. We are a magical fraternal lodge order, and we promulgate the law of Thelema, which is do what thou wilt.
I'm sorry about the low volume there. I have the volume jacked all the way. These are just like very soft-spoken people, or their volume is just very low. I don't know.
Shall be the whole of the law.
Now, you have a few words in there that I don't know. Still much about. Thanks to a couple people I know a little bit, but so Thelema. What is that?
Thelema is the Greek word for will.
Like as in like willpower, or like
willpower.
Okay.
As in do what thou wilt.
Okay.
And that's like the capital W will. That's not just any old whim that happens to pop into your head. That's your true will. That aligns you most with yourself.
What kind of things can they expect to participate in, as wanting to maybe get to know, or
Hear this okay, or is the volume just way too loud?
how do they join? What do you do after you've joined? Kind of walk us through that.
Okay. Well, a good way to get started is to attend one of our Meet the OTO events, where you can.
All right, I'm going to break this up. I'm not finding that to be very, very informative. Just let me read some of your comments here. CE says, not to mention that all of them, Bella was extremely sensitive. She was afraid of Santa. She cried when she got pie in her hair. Poor girl. That shreds me what he put her through. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. I know. It's truly, truly, it truly does haunt me every day. Oh. Amy says, I knew she had to have been there. Do you mean at the house that night? Oh, you do want to hear? I don't know. I think here, just give me one moment. Let's have a brief little intermission here. Brief little intermission. Let me find a video that has a little better volume and maybe some more interesting content. Intermission.
Whatever happened to him just acted pure.
Unraveling the intricate web of lies that made up Chris Watts' secret life
offering clues as to why he murdered his pregnant wife Shanann and their 2 young daughters. Shanann's devastated parents, Sandra and Frank Prusek, speaking out for the first time since their daughter's murder.
I told the police to find his GPS because his GPS is going to tell them where my family is.
From the outside, the Watts family seems perfect. In social media videos, Chris plays the part of a loving husband and doting father to Bella, 4, and 3-year-old Celeste, also known as Cece.
My daddy is a hero.
I'm so excited. I'm driving with you. Hey guys, we're here from the boat today.
She was fun, full of life. She did so many things. She had her hand in everything.
Love you guys. Have a great day.
What? Sorry, guys. I'm trying to. Give me a minute here. I'm trying to find the most relevant. Camel. Okay, so would you like to hear a little more about the history of OTO or a former member who decided to leave? Put in a quick note. I'm trying to see what these are about super quick. The organization. All right, I'm just gonna whatever I see in the comments here is what we're gonna watch. About them all being here. All right, we're going to listen to the guy that left and try to find out why he left. All right, let me just bring that to the stream here. Oh shit, that's right. I didn't download it. Let's see if I can do it.
Hi, Jeremy Crow here.
Oh, come on, Jeremy Crow. Just work for me, baby. All right, I'm just going to have to download this. It'll just take a moment. I'm just going to have to look at this man's beautiful face while I'm doing that. Sorry, y'all. Hello, Jeremy Crow. Thank you for having a beautiful beard that we can look at.
I think I recognize that guy. And then he...
All right. Jeremy Crow here. Jeremy Crow here.
He left this is on a streetcar, on a trolley.
Okay. All right. Got it. All right. Let's see what Jeremy Crow and his beautiful beard have to say.
He left, and I saw the guy.
Huh? Oh, now it's rocking. Share screen. All right, here's Jeremy Crow and his beautiful beard, former member of the OTO. Oh, come on. Oh, there we go.
This is a song.
And remember, we can't emphasize enough that his rewriting of the rituals he attributes to that day that is considered, to be a sacred day in the OTO tradition, which is August 12th, which is the date that is the eve of these murders. The day, as some of you pointed out, the Shanann was supposed to be home if it were not for the storms that delayed her flight. Well, now, how interesting. You just mentioned the pentagram, which we know in satanic practices, the pentagram is a very important thing. And, some of the stories that I've told you about my paranormal experiences, the last house I lived in Philadelphia, I had to move out. There was all this crazy stuff happening I'm not going to get into right now that literally scared the shit out of me. I had the house exercised. I had the everything exercised. It was extensive. All right. I mean, by a Catholic priest. And so finally I'm moving out because I just can't take it there anymore. I go to move, some things out of the basement. It was an unfinished basement, very raw, like stone walls, So I had a few things down there. I'm just making sure I have everything down there just as I'm moving out. Move this big box spring that was laid up against one of the walls. And behind that box spring, etched into the raw material of the basement, was like a 6.5 foot fucking pentagram. I kid you not. The image will be burned in my mind forever, and things that happened in that place were by far the scariest I've ever experienced. Apparently, OTO likes pentagrams too. I mean, this sounds great, guys. Poetry, pentagrams, and a quiz show. I mean, you can see why people would be down. Like, what is this? You guys can't hear him. Jesus. I'm so sorry. I just saw that you can't hear him. All right. Let me try to bring him in this other way. And if it doesn't work, I'm just gonna. I'll have to get the. I'll get something, either this or something better prepared for you for the next time. I'm sorry about that, guys. I was trying to savor all of your comments. I wasn't reading them quickly enough. All right, let's try this. Sorry about that.
Jeremy Crow here. This video I wanted to talk a little bit about some of my experience with the OTO, or the Ordo Templi Orientis. Now this is a Masonic style organization. At one point it used to be like an appendant body to Freemasonry, or it was intended as such, at least at one point. And it was started by Theodore Roos, and later Aleister Crowley was one of the early members, and he ended up taking the top leadership position, the top human leadership position at least, and he ended up rewriting all of the rituals. So at this point, people generally consider it to be...
Okay, bro's just going to keep buffering here. Give me just one moment. I got something else for you that is going to be reading, not watching. Hmm. God, I'm coming across some really interesting stuff actually as I'm looking this up. Okay. All right. We're going to pick this up next time because there's just a plethora of information out there. Most of it's in video form, and I don't want it to buffer for you. So that's just not going to work tonight. Let me bring this guy down here. Let me read some of your comments here. Wow. I don't know. I remember I had heard, you guys are so funny. You know, I remember hearing about that date, August 12th, as being, you know, a sacred date in, you know, the OTO tradition. And I kind of just had forgotten about that. That really is very interesting. Yeah, Shady. I'm a little hung up on that too. Shady says liberating himself comment in retrospect is so damning. Yeah, and it was so close to the time of the murders too. And it just doesn't I think I see why you're really picking up on that. It doesn't feel like an expression that Chris Watts, as we knew him to be, at least as we think we did. It doesn't seem like something that was like, you know, genuine to him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, Patreon is different than a regular membership, and the reason is you know, anyone who becomes a paid Patreon member, it's $5 a month, and I'm not trying to make anything exclusive that not everyone can access. My wish would be that everyone can access everything that I want to put out for content, or I want to talk about with this case or any other. But the fact of the matter is, on this platform, that just is not possible. So for example, one of the videos I put up recently was about, you know, the Shanann Watts Christmas Eve video. I know we've all seen it a million times. We've heard everything that was said about it, except for the things that can't be said on YouTube. And I think all of you that watched it will agree that there's a really important thing that we focused on in that video that I can only put on Patreon because it will not withstand the rigor and scrutiny of the YouTube content screeners. I mean, that's the first level I've got to get past. That's the first hurdle I have to jump over when I'm trying to get things to stick and get my channel to survive on YouTube, you know. But it's something that could never have been discussed on YouTube, and so it's on Patreon for that reason. Yeah, I can post it. I'll post those videos in Discord. Yeah, and do you want to put up the Discord link too, Cuffyu? We have a really great Discord. Cuffyu runs it. I mean, I don't take any credit for it. She's done such a great job. There's scores of cases, tons of information about cases that I would never be able to even consider creating content on in YouTube, because making a video is, pretty labor intensive. But just making the information available to you guys is what Discord does and what Patreon does as well, which I think is such a great service. Everything doesn't need to be a whole video. Like on Patreon, I have all of the new document releases, all the unsealed documents that come out for the Idaho case. I put them on the Patreon page, so you don't have to download that huge file. You can just access it. And most of this is totally free. You can just access it as you wish through the Patreon. It's not going to take up space, or, it cause videos on your computer to buffer. I have the entire Chris Watts discovery is, talking about the written discovery, and most of the digital discovery files, as well as a bunch of other cases. And then on Discord, there's just all kinds of information, sometimes fun information, sometimes serious information, sometimes hard to find information on a ton of cases. So definitely go check out both of those resources. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, Cuffy, if you wanted to. I'm going to end this in a couple of minutes here. I don't know if you want me to send you any of those video links. People could go over to Discord and watch it with you. If you'd like to do that, just let us know here, and maybe some people would like to come over and check it out. I'm going to be going to bed soon because my son's birthday was last Sunday. My mom's 75th birthday was on Wednesday, and I'm taking them out to dinner tomorrow night. We're going to have a whole day and then go out to hibachi. So, do you want to do a Discord, Cuffyu? Or are you just kind of done for the day too? Yeah, send them to me and I'll post them and plan a chat. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send the links that we weren't able to watch right now to Cuffyu. She's going to post them on Discord right now. And then we'll have a live chat about it sometime in the future. Sometime, can we say before next Friday? Because we're going to do another Spooky Watch live stream next Friday, which I think will be fun. No, Jim was not a Freemason. My grandfather was a 33rd degree Freemason, and he was a treasurer for New York for a long time, and he was so super proud of being a Freemason. I'm not saying that people are questioning it wrong to do so. I'm offended by it by any means, but I was the only grandchild, and I was really a grandma and grandpa's little girl. And they used to go, they used to travel and go on all these Masonic conventions because my grandfather was so big in the Masons, I guess, so to speak, or it was so important to him. He was so committed and active. And so I was around all these older Masonic people when I was a little kid. I mean, I was definitely the only kid there. They were just such kind, sweet people. They were always planning to do, my experience of it, what I witnessed is they were always planning to do good volunteer work, to, support, noble causes and causes that really needed support. So that's my perception of it. But I do know that others have a different perception. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to end it with that. I do have some videos that should be coming out later this weekend or early next week. And please do remember, on Halloween evening, a week from today, on Friday night, we are going to be diving much deeper into Chris Watts and his mistress, Nicole Kessinger's, and potential involvement with the occult, things that are unexplainable, evil, and, well, are a big mystery to us, including going deeper into her involvement with the OTO. So with that, I hope everyone has a really awesome night. Remember, take good care of yourselves because you deserve it. And go check out Discord. I'm going to post some of the links for the videos we weren't able to watch here tonight over on Discord in just a couple minutes.